Today's training is about how to incentivize these next couple of weeks and how to help your team really maximize the beginning of the month, so that they not only still have a great month. December is one of those that can be really, really high or really, really bad. We want it to still be a great month, even though it's technically a short month. But the other thing is we want to pave the road for January, because what happens all the time is that we work so hard in November and so hard the first week or two of December, and then it's a welcome break. And trust me when I say I 100% get it. Like, I 100% understand, remember, empathize, still with you on the fact that once, the kind of holiday selling season part for us is over, I looked forward to that last day of shipping, because it was like, whew, we could finally take a breath. But the problem is so many people will spend those 8 to 10 days enjoying the holidays, and then they flip the calendar over and look at January, and it looks like it snowed because it's all white, because there's absolutely nothing written in there. So we want to talk about some incentives that you can do, some that you can do right now that will incentivize the activities that they're doing now, some that will incentivize things for January and beyond, and then we'll talk about some prizes, and then also wrap it up with just some tips for how you need to stay involved. So any kind of incentive that you're doing, and some of these slides you've seen, and we're adding to them. But any time you're doing any kind of incentive, the biggest thing is you have to figure out what the goal of the incentive is. Just to keep the team moving is not definitive enough. We need to have something a little more strategic than that, a little more focused than that. Obviously, the whole goal is to keep the team active and to keep the team moving and to avoid the January slump, avoid the December burnout, holiday burnout, all that kind of stuff. But so when you're talking about trying to figure out what promotion or what incentive to put together, the first thing is to figure out, again, are we going after sales? Is this going to be a sales reward type incentive? Is it going to be bookings, or is it going to be building your team? So the sales and the bookings can kind of go together a little bit. The parties and the team can kind of go together a little bit, but you want to narrow it down and not just have this rapid fire of all three of them. There's different types of promotions, and every time I looked at this specifically to see if it was going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I don't know why it uploads weird. Anyway, all right, so let's talk about some different kind of promotions that you can do. The first one is you do, you get. This one's very, very simple. You do this, you win this. Easy. You sell $500, you get, this. You recruit 1 team member, you get this. You book and hold 5 parties, you get this. Very, very simple. The pros to this, very easy. People will play. It's easy to understand. It's easy for somebody personally to set the goal to achieve it. The con to this is that you as the leader have no idea what your cost is going to be. You have no idea how many people are going to participate. If you're doing it as, a $500, in sales and you get this, then, you have to know whatever your prize is going to be if 1 person gets it or if 50 people get it. Like, if every single person on your team was to achieve it, what is that going to cost you? Now, here's the thing. Not everybody on your team is going to achieve it, although it would be a great problem if they did, right? But it's sometimes difficult for you to kind of figure out how much it is going to cost you. It can also be intimidating for a new consultant, and it's difficult to find where you want to put that because, let's say the $500 mark. So if you say, if you sell $500, you're going to get a $20 Starbucks card or whatever. Then, the problem is there are some people that will be like, meh, got it in the bag, I'm going to do that in my first party. There are other people that are like brand new and they're like, oh my gosh, $500, that's a lot of product. So, you have to kind of weigh and look at your team. This is, remember, our homework was to do the 90-day action plan. Part of the reason why that is so important to have that 90-day action plan and to know what your team wants and where they're going and how committed they are is because you'll know where to set this bar if it is on sales or bookings or recruits. You know, you want to stretch them, like look at your team, and if the, you know, average that your team normally, you know, if the average consultant does $350 a month, then, you know, go ahead and bump it up. You want, the whole point of the incentive is to grow. So you want it to be a little bit higher. And if they're doing 350, then 500 is not a huge bump. Where bookings are concerned, if you see that the average person holds 3, bump it to 5. If the average person holds 5, bump it to 7. You know, something along those lines. You want to have a little bit of a bump so that you know, it encourages. Some people are going to get every single incentive you ever do forever and ever. Amen. Like, that's just who they are. You're always going to have those people on your team, but you love them. They're your evergreens that are always going to be great. But for everybody else, you want to kind of try to bump. The second kind of incentive is top number wins. This is real simple. Number 1 in sales gets this. Number 1 in recruiting gets this. Number 1 in bookings gets this. The pro to that, very, very simple. 1 winner. Or, you know, maybe you do top 3. You know, then you have 3 winners, whatever it may be. The con to this one is that most every month you've always got your top 3. And so the other, you know, percentage of the team will seldom play because they feel like they can't compete. If you have somebody who is consistently selling $2,000 to $3,000 a month, you know, then the person who is normally doing $500 a month, she's not going to try. And that's just the nature of how we are. It's, you know, the people don't do a marathon when they struggle with a 5K kind of thing. So it's the same sort of mentality. It's good to always, you know, recognize those who are working the hardest, but you don't want to do it at the mercy or at the upset and disappointment of the people who cannot compete with those top dogs. The next one is like a sweepstakes or a drawing. So this is similar to, you know, everybody who has a party, they get their name in a hat, or everybody that does, you know, $10 in sales gets their name in a hat or whatever. This one is also a fixed price. How many names are you going to draw? That's how you know exactly what it's going to cost. It also gives everybody a fighting chance. The bad side is that it gives everybody a fighting chance. And people who have really tried, when they lose, it can be really disappointing, and it can be discouraging going forward. So they, you know, can feel demoralized or feel, you know, just disappointed that it didn't work for them, even though they may have tried harder. And excuse me, it never fails. You can tell I was up late doing the office. It never fails that, you know, there's always somebody who's going to get their feelings hurt because the person who wins, like, had 1 ticket in the hat. You know what I mean? Like, they sold $10. The other person did like $3,000, but yeah, it's 1-1. Number 4 is a consistency program. So this is similar to what your company probably offers with a fast start type program. And the thing that I love about this one is that it's promoting consistency, it's building foundation. This is kind of my favorite, okay? Because everything that we do is habit driven. Every single activity that we do is habit driven. And so with the consistency program, you're creating great habits. The con is keeping it going through that time frame or whatever. But if you can keep it going, and if you can keep people committed, and if you really incentivize it, then what you're really doing is training them to be great consultants. It's more about the habits that they are creating than who necessarily wins. If you've got, you know, people that are getting up every day and working their business because they're in this consistency program, that foundation that you're laying is ultimately going to be, you know, pay off whether they win or not. So, you know, that one, while difficult to manage, I think in the long run, I think that one, you know, is probably the best because, again, of building that consistency, building those habits. And then the last one is a team competition where you kind of, you know, let them compete against one another. This one, I'll have to tell you, you have to have a really good team of everybody that gets along. Or sadly, this one can get a little bit catty. This one is hard to track. The baseball challenge that I talked about, that Dina, we talk about all the time, it's, I had it was 9 months leading up to our convention. And I did, first base was $500, second base was $1,000, I think third base was $1,500, and a home run was a recruit. But you had to, you had to do 1,500 and get the recruit in order to get the home run. And there was team members of mine that did it, and the one girl that won, I ended up taking her to convention. She earned her convention for free. So it was a really, really tough to manage challenge. But the girls really, they really did it up. So this one I went completely over the top. In our meeting room, I had the sounds, like there's this, it was one of those, whatever, that sounds like a baseball, like you hear the crack and the crowd goes wild and whatever. I was wearing a jersey. I had a hat made that said coach. Like, I went completely overboard, and I divided the team, as they came in, everybody got a ticket, and I put all the even numbers over here and all the odd numbers over there, and that literally was luck of the draw, split it down the middle. It was really neat. The entire team that won got matching bracelets that I had handmade, and then of course our MVP, I took her to convention. So it was a super neat challenge. I had a very, very close-knit team, so it worked really well to, again, kind of pit each other against each other, but it was very difficult to track, and very difficult to keep the momentum for a full 9 months. So holidays are coming. We're 5 weeks away from the holidays, trying to think of like a holiday theme. I thought, what would be fun if you had your team meeting for November already? You can do this if you haven't, maybe, the Christmas party or whatever that you have for your team, is to use jingle bells. This is something, get like ribbon, just normal red ribbon, and give jingle bells to everybody who comes to the meeting. And, you can give them 3 jingle bells for, see if they can book 3 parties, or 3 jingle bells if they bring, 3 new people to the next meeting, or, something along those lines. But give them the bells, and you can put them, so they'll be wearing 3 necklaces, like a bell in each one, but they'll still jingle. I was just thinking of something like that. You can do holiday theme for December, make it fun, and that gives a number. So it's kind of like the lay game that we do at, that recommend for some of the home parties and stuff like that. For bookings, you can do the same thing, the same idea with your team with jingle bells. All right, so let's talk about some ways to make them successful. So here's the thing about these kind of programs, is that you announce them and everything and all the excitement and whatever, and then it just kind of dies off. So you have to make sure that you are motivating and talking about it through the entire event. You as the leader are going to get so intensely sick of it. That's how you know you're doing it correctly. You should get so sick of having to talk about this incentive. But the thing is, the people that are working for it, they need those constant reminders. They need that constant motivation to make sure that they are staying on track. The other thing is to make sure that you're looking beyond the numbers. Sometimes things are happening within your team. Maybe somebody's really stepping up into a leadership role. Maybe somebody is really stepping up and learning about how to, use social media or something like that. That may be something that in January or in February, you give her an opportunity to talk for 10 minutes at a meeting about how things are going with social media and something she has learned. So you can look beyond the actual numbers and who may be winning to see what other traits and skills are really kind of coming forward. Remember that 80-20 is a guideline, not a rule. So, with the team, you want to make sure that you are touching base often with the quieter ones to make sure that they are, involved and engaged. Are you working towards this incentive? I would love to reward you at our next meeting, or whatever. So don't have to spend all of your time on the 20%. Make sure that you are paying attention to that 80 as well. So you want to get your team obviously active and wanting more. The thing is, we have to be cheerleaders. We have to cheer all the time. Even when we do not feel cheerful ourselves, it has to be a constant cheer. You have to keep people excited about their business, excited about the opportunity. The way that you do this, you want it to You yourself, be making sure that you as a leader are modeling the opportunity and everything that it has to offer. Are you, are you a great consultant? Are you sharing and showing the things that you get as a consultant? This is not gloating. This is just talking about it. If you're going to get a pedicure, or if you're having coffee on a Tuesday in the middle of the day at Starbucks, but by yourself, whatever, these are all luxuries that are afforded by the fact that we own a business. So, you can talk about those, not because you're gloating. In fact, you can say, thanks to my business, I can do this. But you want to make sure that you are leading by example and keeping people motivated and excited in the same word. All right. The other thing too is you want to make sure that you are constantly praising, constantly praising. So anytime you see anybody else who is doing anything, you should be monitoring your team's social media. It gives you an opportunity to talk to them. So if you see them posting something on, Instagram about having coffee in the middle of the day on Tuesday, you want to say, hope you're having a great time. That must be nice. What did you order? Something to make sure that you are engaged in there. It is a little bit difficult to, I have a list of people that I go kind of check on, but it's so that I'm purposely, actively engaging and making sure that I'm kind of on their radar, and that they know me and I know them, and we're connected and we're building that relationship so that I can talk to them about their goals, about their dreams, and about maybe if they aren't doing so much, and I can say, hey, what's going on? I notice, whatever. Other ways to keep your team excited is all enterprises. You have to have a great incentive people like. So here's a couple of my favorites and different categories. So Sugar Wish is super fun. I sent one of these and she absolutely loved it. Basically, you're buying them the opportunity to sugar themselves up, but the packaging and everything in this is really, really beautiful. You select the Sugar Wish and the gift card. They get to pick exactly what kind of sweet they want, and then it is delivered, and it's actually a really, really fast turnaround service. They're also, I believe they have a wholesale type, whatever. So if you have a large team, this might be something that you want to sign up for, sugarwish.com. And you can also do things that are a little more geared towards business. So a Starbucks card is a great incentive prize, and you wrap it up with, for your next recruiting meeting, for your next team meeting, for your next one-on-one, for your next, whatever. Starbucks is a great place for people to meet because it is relaxed, it is calm. The coffee is great, although I joke that I make coffee better at my coffee shop. But, this can still be business driven because it's still a professional, relaxed place for them to meet. One of my favorite sites, because look at these prices, is Queensboro, Queensboro, Queensboro. And it's where, if you've ordered anything from Party Plandivas and gotten one of our pins, that's where our pins come from. It's also where our koozies come from. I love Queensboro. The prices are fantastic. They also have a referral program. They do shirts, monogram shirts. I got a great, what are they called? Polo shirt that had the Diva logo embroidered on it. Super pretty there. We're, of course, going to have stuff. I was hoping to get it by Christmas, but that may not happen. Anyway, Queensboro.com is one of my favorites. Another one, this is called Baudville, Baudville, Baudville.com. They have, this is more employee type stuff, but it totally works for us. It's totally just beautiful stuff. I love these little pins. Look, that says Essential Peace, and it's sparkly. Above and beyond, like these pins, I go a little bit nuts for. You may have also received Party Plandivas pins. All right. So I'm a little bit of a nut for pins. Certificates, promotional items, greeting cards, gift sets. Yes, I love that you love your pin. I love them too. Their pins are less expensive than our pins. I had to have mine custom done. But Baudville is another really, really awesome site. 20 destinations. Now, the cool thing about 20 destinations, and Dina, if you'll drop the one that you use too, I know that you use a different one. The way that these work, these are incentive. Oh, Julie, that makes me so happy. I love that. The 20 destinations is their vacation vouchers. Yeah, Las Vegas comps, that's the other one. I can never remember that one. And so I actually used a 20 destinations a couple of years ago. The funny thing is their site, like I literally want to write into them and beg to redo their site because their site is so crappy. It looks like a joke, but it really isn't. These work. I used one years ago to go to New Orleans. It was great. People love this, but don't forget you can use these as an incentive because below this, I did the screenshot. I did the screenshot because I want you to see this price. 20 cents a piece. But below this, you can actually, it says compliments of, and so you can customize it for your winner. So I can put, compliments of Dina Wild or, whatever, and I can give that as an incentive. So it's a way to personalize, customize, but it'll also help your team to build. And you literally cannot beat that price. I mean, you can do 100 of them, and it's still cheap. Even with shipping, I think the shipping's like $5. So, again, super, super, super great price there. The other thing too, don't overlook handmade stuff. Pinterest. Oh, so Las Vegas comps is even cheaper. I don't know. Does that one, like this one had? It's funny because it's called 20 destinations, but now they only give 10 destinations. I noticed on the voucher. Does that, are they just Vegas, Dina, or are they other places? Yeah, 20 locations. All right, so either one sounds like that one's even cheaper. That's awesome. The other thing is don't overlook handmade stuff. This is just created in PicMonkey. Like, it just very, very simple. I thought this was beautiful. If you've got, this could go along with, a gift card. This, I love bamboo. I'm actually going to get one for my table over here. But this is a great, don't overlook handmade gifts. Pinterest is full of them. Look up employee appreciation, team incentive. The other thing too is stuff like teachers' gifts and all that kind of stuff. The idea you can kind of grow on and build on. Like this one, I love. Take note, I think you are awesome. This is just a little package of note cards, like from the dollar store. But who doesn't love a pretty little notebook and a pretty little pen? I mean, I have a ton of pretty little notebooks, pretty little stationery, and we use them. I got these fabulous Christmas cards. I cannot wait to start making them out. But that would be, a great gift. The whole box was $10. So, you can put a pretty little card with it, wrap it up and give it as an incentive. That is something that also they can use to build their business. I love this. Y'all know I love the payday candies, and I think they're super fun for us to use for our business. So, you work hard, you deserve another payday. And then, of course, shameless plug, you can also give them a Diva Success System Planner for 2017. We do have a way that you can buy like a gift card, and that way they can purchase whatever customized planner that they want. But whether you use our planner, your corporate planner, or something that you purchased from the store or another site, a 2017 planner, organizer, whatever, is a fantastic recognition gift. It's also just a great gift for helping them get through the next year. All right, couple last things. Just remember that you cannot motivate anyone. What you have to do is inspire them. You have to keep people excited. People have to motivate themselves. So you have to lead by example and continue to breathe into them what has been ignored. So you have to point out the great things that they do, the great things that they are, the great things that they bring to the team, bring to the company, bring to their parties, bring to their customers. Because the thing is, we don't have enough cheerleaders. Nobody has enough cheerleaders. And something that I will tell you that I was reminded of this morning, you never know who you are inspiring and when. I got tagged in a video this morning from a gal that she was literally a diva like back in the day, like circa 2009, 2010, whatever. She doesn't even do direct sales anymore. And she tagged me this morning on a video and blog post where she talked about how big of an impact I had on her and her success and her business and stuff like that. I mean, like, years ago, and she says, that she's been following me all along, and I'm like, oh, I had, no idea. So you never know who you're inspiring, when you're inspiring, but so just constantly pour into people what they have forgotten. Remember to praise, not just promote. You have to praise the things that aren't getting recognition. So it's almost like praising the losers, okay? It is praising the people that are actively working and doing something, whether they are achieving it or not. It's kind of I always equate everything to running because that's been such a big part of my life the last few years, but you don't just praise the people that cross the finish line. You praise the people that cross the start line. Whether you actually finished or not, you got out there. The one person that's, walking through the neighborhood that, is trying, like, they're doing something. So you have to bring that back to your team too. Even if all they're doing is posting on Facebook all the time, right? That's still activity, even though we know it's not working, or at least the slowest way possible. You still want to praise. You still want to make sure that you are kind of pouring that into them. And then the thing that you always want to remind them is that the big, bold ideas work. That the boldest, craziest, biggest, whatever ideas that, there's more out there than any of us actually go for. We're more capable and all that than any of us. I don't know anybody who lives up to their 100% full potential. But you can encourage your team to strive for it. Because the $1 million question is always, why are you thinking so small? Why not build a $1 million team in 2017? Why not? If you're not thinking that big, why are you thinking so small? So that goes to the leaders, but also what you would take to your team.